Parliamentary support is going to be required because if you're going to restructure, so people that have lent money to the government, bought treasury bills and things like that, if they come in and say, rather than the 100 cedis we owe you, we're going to give you 70 cedis, or instead of you going to get being able to sell it next 3 months, you now have to hold it for 1 year. Whatever they do, and they have to do one of these two. Either they lengthen the profile or they do a haircut. They reduce how much they pay back. If they do these things, usually you need a law to make it simpler. Because if you don't use a law, and the contracts that I've seen in Ghana don't appear to have collection action clauses in them. If there are no collective action clauses, it gets very difficult for you to just sit there and say, you know, you bought 100,000 cedis of treasury bills, it's now only worth 70,000 cedis. It's much difficult unless you change the law that allows those things to proceed smoothly. In the current parliament, that will require bipartisan support. And if the government doesn't start early, trying to make sure that it has consensus with the main opposition party and other stakeholders in the economy, including the Ghana Association of Bankers and the rest, it will find out that it's going to have a very messy restructuring. There are many ways in which restructuring can go wrong. The other thing is that because a lot of the banks hold government assets, we have to start to look at the transmission mechanisms in which they will suffer. So many banks in Ghana just buy a lot of government debt, treasury bills and bonds and things like that. Already, some of my friends in the industry, argue that they should by now already be discounting those bonds and therefore increasing their capital, regulatory capital and tier 1 capital, and they are not doing it. But key point is that before you do a domestic restructuring, which will impact the banks, you need to do an asset quality review again. Because we already know that today, 40% of banks are capital stressed. They are struggling to meet their obligations. And maybe 20% of banks in Ghana are on the verge of insolvency. Given that fact, if you're going to bring in something like domestic debt restructuring, where assets that they thought were safe, you're all of a sudden going to declare that those assets are no longer safe, they are worth much less, you better do a stress testing to see which of the banks may get hit.